Hey guys, what's up? So in this video I figured we would take a look at kind of a strange master grade. The master grade Epyon from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing / Mobile Suit Gundam Wing Frozen Teardrop. Now, this is a very disappointing kit for a multitude of reasons. The main thing is that if you're like me and you think the Epyon is one of the coolest things ever, because the Epyon is cool, it's disappointing for someone who, this was one of my first exposures to Gundam. And this thing has become so disappointing. So first things first, let's get it all out of the way. Let's get a size comparison first. The mobile suit itself stands about 6.5 inches. The wingspan is about 10 inches wide with the wingspan. And then of course, when the wings extend out, they're about 18 inches, but that's for later. Now, to make this easier to review, obviously we're going to take this off. Take the hand off here. This is one problem. The whole hand, the whole assembly comes off when you do this. It's fine in theory, but also it's kind of annoying. And the hands, of course, are the traditional slot type, which is fine. That works pretty well. This slots in. Works fine. Thumb moves about on a ball joint. And then these slide back in place. We'll just pop that out of there. And this will go back on the back here. Oh. Yeah, it gets a bit of a hand grenade, as you can see. When you start really messing with it, it starts having issues. Now, of course, we'll get on to the positives. I recommend leaving these fingers plugged into the hilt of this sword. This thing will break like there's no tomorrow. It looks gorgeous. It's beautiful. The bendy wire is really nice. Get all kinds of good, awesome poses out of it. Very stiff, nice bendy wire. Really do quite like that. The whip is nice. Let me detach that. And again, this is annoying that it'll take off parts of the arm with it. This is nice. It looks great. The segments are done well. Here's the problem. The glaring issue with this. Every one of these is prone to snapping off the ball joint. There are two that go right here. They're supposed to hold the tip of this blade when this is in a transformed form or when it's in just like its dormant form. They have snapped 3 different times. And the point of failure is right here. Let's see if it'll focus on it. Is right here in these little ball joints. Let me get out something to point at this. Right here. These little ball joints right in here are the actual issue. They're so thin and the plastic is so brittle that if you slightly tweak them a little too much, they will snap off. I would give an example, but I don't want to break any more of these since I'm already down 2 of these. What does work though, works well. And of course, you've got the standard handle that can flip out. That's more for the transformation. Which we won't be doing the transformation in this video because it's finicky, but also it kind of makes the kit a little more fragile than you would imagine. And it does have a tendency to snap the arms. Well, the forearms mostly. Or tends to break with it. Then you have these tedious things you'll have to do where you'll have to line this back up, pop this back in place. It's annoying. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. Now, onto the pros though. He looks gorgeous. He is a gorgeous looking model. He looks about as good as you could really get a master grade Epyon to look. It looks about as good as you would expect a master grade Epyon to look. But that's because the epyon's a cool design no matter what. He looks sick. He's an amazing looking kit, which is good. You know, aesthetically he looks great. It's the execution that's kind of poor. Now, of course, you know, we'll do things a little bit simpler. What we'll do is we'll take the back piece off to talk about the articulation, because it's easier. Now, without the back piece, he's not bad. He still stands decently enough. You would have to take that off anyway, again, to transform him, but I'm not going to do that because it has a tendency to snap both these forearms and snap some of these joints in the legs. So be warned, that's one of the reasons I don't do that, and I recommend you don't either. But this does do a lot of nice things in an engineering perspective. Like all the skirting is segmented on ball joints. That's great. That's engineering you don't even see most modern master grades do. Like, I didn't have to split any of these ball joints. It's nice. The head is really nice. It's on its own ball joint. These little ear pieces are a little finicky, but that's fine. I think the reason why is because this is using a kit that's so old that what is new here that's modified for the epyon is going over an old frame. So I think this uses parts from the Wing Zero EW kit, I think. And of course, aesthetically speaking, if you want to stick this up next to the Verka, you could. It looks good enough. The head looks good. The eyes are painted, but it's because the sticker that comes with these is kind of dull. The gem and the head is painted because, again, the sticker's kind of dull. But the sculpt looks good. All the angles look nice. As for articulation, you have got a little bit of a pivot there, a little bit of a pivot there, not much forward, nothing back. For the cockpit, you have got this little yellow piece right here opens up, and there is a little tiny version of Miliardo in there just chilling. He looks good. Yeah, he's accurate. He's good for the sculpt size. The shoulder pads are on a separate piece so they can float around and move when the arm moves. The arms go completely horizontal, so that's pretty nice. They do pivot up well, but that's because it's kind of hard to mess that up on a universal joint. You do get a good elbow joint. Not really double jointed, which is kind of disappointing. Unless I assembled it wrong, which I may have. That's very much a good idea. I might have assembled it wrong on this side, but because yep, I assembled it wrong on that side. You get a good double jointed elbow. Both the wrists are on the standard Gundam ball joints, and they connect well. The thumbs, of course, are on a ball joint. The head is on a double ball joint. The skirting can, of course, get out of the way since it's on a ball joint. That's nice. Allowing the legs to go all the way back, all the way forward, all the way out, which is super nice. The knees get better than 90 degrees. That's super nice. For how chunky his legs are, that's really nice. And of course, the detail is, it's a little ugly in spots, but it's not bad. These areas do move on a segmented ball joint, mostly right here. This is supposed to be a little stiff on my copy. The ankles are on a ball pivot, meaning you can get the front of the toe to move up and down. The heel stays stationary. The legs can go completely, the ankles can tilt forward, tilt back, pivot to the side, pivot to the side. But that's also because, again, this being a transformation gimmick, but it does allow for some cool posing. And that's the thing, really. The articulation's super nice on the kit. Now let's talk about why that's an issue with the wings. The articulation is solid. You can see here these antennae get a little annoying. But articulation's really nice. Solid, nice articulation. Looks good. Everything moves well the way it should. These are where things become problematic. Once these go on the kit, he starts becoming a hand grenade. They're nice and large, as they should be, for the wings of the epyon. The problem is that they're a little too large and get in the way. They also stab into whatever ground he's standing on, making it hard for him to actually, balance with his own feet. And it makes him back heavy also, which is not ideal. Now, these are supposed to be able to shift down on this so you can get them to go to their full extension. But again, the way these are engineered, the joints like to pop apart. Like on this side. This side's fine. The joint on this side likes to pop apart. You really can't do much with this. You can't really get this drop down here to function that well. Unless you do that and you completely take the joint apart. And that's just annoying. Having to reassemble a joint on the fly as you're messing with a kit is a pain. And you run into the problem of this side stays overly tight because of what it is, and this side stays overly loose. So that means that even if this side wouldn't have the problem of falling apart, it would be loose like this. And this doesn't even offer that much more range. So in order to lock the wing, the idea is good, the execution's bad. You're supposed to be able to do that to lock the wing in place. That doesn't work though, because in order for it to lock in place, the wings have to stay stationary. And you run the risk of doing the same thing on this side that you did on this side, which is damaging the joint. It's annoying, but then it makes it drag the floor even more. You see the dilemma here. Now it does mean that these seat in here a little deeper, meaning you do get a tighter joint out of these, which is fine. And then one of the main things this has, which is a cool gimmick, you pull this, the wings extend. That's cool. It looks cool. This really is a model that you would kind of just buy for a companion piece, really. These little fins move, these little thrusters move on a ball joint. They move around on a little ball joint. Really, he's one of those kits that you would buy as like a companion kit. And of course, if you're not messing with a wing master grade before, this little bracket here across the back is where the wings pop in place on all of them. And again, some of them it's better than others. In his case, not so much. You kind of have to use the wings as a tripod, almost. In this case, a bipod, because of his size. Now, he does look good. That's the thing. He is a nice looking kit. Once he's posed up and done, he'll hold a pose. He'll look nice. The problem is that he might be a bit of a hand grenade in the head and in the wings and in parts of the arms, trying to get him in any kind of prominent pose. To get him in any kind of pose that's going to resemble anything from the anime, you're going to need an Act 5 stand, and you're also probably going to need a lot more willpower and a lot more patience to not throw him, because, that's kind of one of the issues that I was suffering from, is that there's so many tiny little bits that if you move one thing, like example, you move the legs, all of this moves around. So all of it is going to be out of whack when you move the body. When you move the wings, everything up here likes to shift. The head likes to shift around. I don't know why. The head shouldn't shift around when you're messing with the wings, but it does. Now, as for build notes, As you can see with this arm, I disassembled this wrong because they're not very clear instructions. They're laid out like modern master grade instructions, but the problem is they're trying to condense so much into the small boxes on the page. And it may have just been because I may have been tired, but this did seem a little more complicated than it should have been to assemble. This area was a little more complicated than it should have been. Especially these little spikes that stick out on the leg. The head goes together good, but doesn't want to stay together well. The wings are pretty quick and simple. Most of the inner frame is pretty fast and simple. So that's good. The hands are nice. They're the good master grade hands, as I call them. Only other really build notes I would say is I'd recommend painting the eyes and painting all the green parts on the kit, since the stickers they're just your generic foil seals. They're not a deterrent. I'm not a big fan of them. Your mileage may vary though. The pros of the kit obviously are, it looks nice. Like this is straight out of the box, just panel lined with a little bit of paint for the eyes and the chest, and he looks fantastic. I'm going to hit him with a dull coat, obviously, since, he needs some form of something since he looks a little shiny, but that's my personal preference. He does look great, that's the thing. He's a very nice looking kit. And that's probably one of the main reasons you would buy him. It's one of the main reasons I bought him. I love the Epyon's design. It's the design that got me into Gundam in general. I think it's the best looking wingsuit in general. It's everything that the master grade wing it should be. I'm sorry, it's everything that the Wing Zero should be. But cooler. It's like Daniel and the cooler Daniel. Pretty much the same model, pretty much the same mobile suit, just a cooler color scheme. Instead of a bird, ooh, dragon. Which, also, you would think this would be able to go on the back somewhere. Nowhere in the instructions does it say it can go on the back. Which, again, is kind of disappointing, since you would kind of want the whole dragon tail thing to be able to mount around the back to be a tail. But with how finicky and thin these are, I don't think I would trust that, even if it is able to. And again, it's not like it's a terrible kit. It's just a kit that suffers from a lot of cons more than it does pros. Most of that stuff's going to be a hand grenade. I guess you're messing with it. These back arm panels fall off. The hands like to come out of a socket. The wrist joints like to pop off. These forearms are prone to breaking after you transform him once. The legs like to break in two different areas, here and here. These like to break off. These like to break off. These like to break at the joint segments. The sword is prone to breaking at the hilt. The wire doesn't want to stay into the hilt of the handle. It's okay, but it could be better. And that's really the whole gimmick. He looks good next to the Master Grade Verka Wing Zero. He looks good next to the regular Master Grade Wing. He doesn't look good without a companion, because he does, without a gloss coat, look a little bit on the toyetic side. He's going to need a little bit of love. Now, one cool bonus he did come with, was the interchangeable finger parts for a gripping hand on this side and open fingers for that side. But he did come with some decals. He came with the dry transfer decals, which they're pretty decent. I thought about using one, then thought, no, I'll just get some water slides, which I probably will. Then you got the sticker type decals, which are fine. These work good. These will look nice, depending on where you put them. I would use these over the dry transfers just because these are going to look a little nicer and be easier to work with. But I would recommend water slides. And that's the thing. Once I water slide decal him up, and I put a dull coat over him, he's not getting touched again once he's in a pose. Now, of course, one of the coolest things, and is little tiny Milliardo, little Milliardo Peacecraft, because he's no longer known as Zex Marquis at this point. He is Milliardo. As you can see, I painted the model up completely. I like painting these little pilot models. It's a lot of fun to do. It really tests my skills as a figure painter as well. I did a black panel lining thing to kind of give the anime look, but also to pull out some details like the eyes and the clothing details, because without it, you're just not going to notice it. He's a really nice looking little pilot model. He turned out really nice. He looks great with the epyon. And the scale, of course, is perfect, but they always are with these. Essentially, at the end of the day, it's more of a thing of, do you like the epyon from a design perspective, but don't want to be able to do much with the kit in the way of posing or just messing around with the kit when you're bored and running the risk of breaking the kit, then you would be just buy it and put it in one pose, stick it on a shelf, and that's it. For me, I'm probably just going to buy it. Well, I'm probably just going to put it in a singular pose, stick it on my Gundam shelf, and that'll be it. He'll never be touched again. But that's how most of my Gunpla turn out. Whether they're highly articulated or not, that's usually how they turn out. Hopefully, you guys are able to make an informed decision when purchasing a master grade like this. And just know that if you're going to pick up any of these wing master grades, they're all kind of pretty much statues, given the fact that they're both old and kind of over-engineered on certain attributes. So keep that in mind, that they are not super beginner friendly, or they're not gotcha heavy builds, and they're not annoying builds like some older master grades. They kind of fall in that transitional period between old master grades and something like the seed master grades, where you have some parts of this that are very simple, quick, efficient builds, then you have some parts that are tedious and annoying, like the legs. So keep that in mind if you're going to pick up a master grade epyon. He's not a bad kit, but do you like the epyon enough to go through some of these footfalls to build the kit? Some of the kind of odd instructions to go through for this kit. If so, pick it up. If not, kind of stray away from it. I'm not going to say it's a terrible kit. I'm just going to say it's disappointing more than it really is anything else. That's the thing. Like, it's a cool looking kit. It'll look cool on a shelf, but it's kind of disappointing from an engineering perspective. Hopefully this helped you guys. If you liked it, let me know. What's your favorite wing model kit? What's your favorite wing mobile suit? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks. I'll see you guys in the next one.